Hello and welcome to the It's All About Missions Country Spotlight. And this week we're going to be talking about the Asian country of Singapore. Now, Singapore is in the Malay Islands, and it's made up of 63 individual little islands, but it's a country that has almost 6 million people that live there, and it's a variety of religions. A majority of the religion there would actually be between Buddhism, Taoism, and ancestor worship. There's about 15 or so percent of the population that's Muslim, and a small majority would also be considered Christian, but that would include anything from Roman Catholicism to Orthodox or Jehovah's Witness to Mormonism. And actually, it's a country that's made up of almost 75% of the population would be considered Chinese. And so there are several different recognized languages there. One of the main languages would be English. And pardon me if I look down, I'm actually looking at my iPad that has some information, some of the research. I like to try to help and give the best information I can about what's going on in the country of Singapore. And so it does have, English is one of the main languages. Also, Malay is a main language. And Mandarin, Chinese, is a main language. And also there's a local dialect, local language, that is also one of their 4 main languages. And it's a country that is in great need for the gospel. And people are dying and going to hell there because they don't know the truth that Jesus came and died on the cross for their sin. Many of them are in Buddhism. They're following after ancestor worship. They're mixing a lot of religions, and they don't know the truth. The thing is about Singapore is, one thing you may have heard about them is they have this thing called the Singapore caning. And in Singapore, there's about 30 or so offenses that if you break a law or do something, they'll actually take you out publicly and cane you with a cane and hit you on the back, bareback in front of everybody. And you say, "Wow, that's scary. That sounds dangerous." And would that affect someone who might be a Christian there, who might go and take the gospel to these people? Well, the thing is in Singapore, there is freedom of religion. Now, that is all viewed in the eye of the government as to what they allow, what they don't allow. And they don't mind missionaries coming in and being in the country, but you have to be careful because they really don't want anything with government and religion mixing, or politics and religion mixing. One other thing, though, is they don't want the balance upset. They're not really big fans of proselytizing. So going out and getting someone to go from one religion to the other religion. So there are some difficulties. Although there is religious freedom there, you would have to be very careful in the country. But let's pray that God would open the door here, that the government would become open to allow people to share the gospel and allow people to come. And the thing is it's all dependent on the government, what they see and what they allow. And there's different instances that I've read about, mostly with Jehovah's Witnesses being arrested. But there hasn't been a lot of issues with persecution or anything like that I've seen, but it's one of those things you've got to be very careful in the country about and understand that there's a delicate balance of what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, but it's a country that needs the gospel. And there's almost 6 million people that live in this country that need someone to go and to share the gospel with them. So will you join me this week in praying for the country of Singapore? Pray that God would open the doors even more, that while there is freedom of religion there, that God would open the door even more, that God would allow more missionaries to go in there freely to share the gospel, and that souls would be saved and they would be turned from their blindness into the gospel. And I ask you also just to pray that if there are missionaries there, that God would work through them and in them as they try to train people and share the gospel and plant churches, and that God would work and that national pastors would be raised up, and that Singapore could be reached with the gospel. Let's pray for the country of Singapore this week, and let's pray that God will work in and through this, and maybe God would call you to go to this place, to go to this country, and to take the gospel to these people who've never heard. And again, let's do everything we can to reach the world in this generation. Thank you for joining us on It's All About Missions. And if we'd like for you to go and to like the video you just watched, but also if you could do us a favor and subscribe to our channel, this will help you know when we post new videos and new things and new content here that you can follow and you can watch. One other thing to note here, as you can see, we've got the opportunity for you to go back and watch previous Country of the Week, Country Spotlights here. You can go watch those. Or down here you can watch our most recent missions video, missions updates videos, and go to those. But thank you again for joining us. And please invite your friends to come and to watch these videos, and let's see the world reached with the gospel in this generation.